Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of The Heavy Corner. I am your host, Wyatt Turner. And since this is the first episode, I'll give you a little rundown of what this show is supposed to be. It's basically going to be at least every month, hopefully every 2 weeks, just a recap of all the metal news that's happened, reviewing new albums that have come out, new shows, stuff like that, concerts I've been to. And I will be on every episode, but sometimes it'll be just me, sometimes it'll be other guests. Basically, if you're a friend of mine, you can hold a conversation well, you're welcome to be on the show. And that's pretty much the gist of it, so I'll get right into it, starting with news for this episode. As you've all heard, Dave Brockie from Gwar passed away March 23rd. That really sucked. Dave Brockie, obviously the singer, Odor Strungus for Gwar, a very legendary band. He helped really bring them to their legendary status, so I don't know what's going to happen with the future of the band now, which sucks a lot because if you've seen them, you know how crazy entertaining they were and just ridiculous their shows were. But he was found March 23rd, sitting in a chair in his house by one of his roommates. Police say they're investigating if it was drug related, but it hasn't come out yet. I guess autopsies take a while. He was only 50 years old, so something had to be up with it, which sucks a lot. I know everybody's really upset about that. In other news, as you all heard, if you're fans of Arch Enemy, Angela Gasso is stepping down. She's no longer the front woman for Arch Enemy. Angela Gasso still handles the management of the band, but she will no longer be fronting the vocals. She's been replaced by singer Alyssa White Gluse. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I will probably pronounce many things wrong in this show. But she's the new singer for Arch Enemy. They have a new music video out for their song War Eternal. And I was never a fan of the agonist. I don't particularly like Alyssa's vocals that much, but the song that came out is better than I thought it would be, I gotta say. I didn't think it was particularly fantastic, but it was much better than I thought it would be. I really will not be able to say how I feel about Alyssa fronting Arch Enemy until they start doing live footage and have her do some of the older songs. I think that'll really tell. But yeah, that was a bit of a bummer. I really love Arch Enemy, and I always saw Angela as like a power force of the band. So we'll see what happens with them from now on. Aerosmith just announced a US tour with Slash. It's running through June and September, dubbed the Let Rock Rule Tour. And that'll be a fun show for anybody really into cheesy 80s music. I'm definitely going because I saw Aerosmith once and they were fantastic, and I'm a fan of Slash. So yeah, be sure to check that out if it's coming through your area and you just want to look at Steven Tyler's huge mouse and wonder and fascination for a while. Tiamat frontman Johan Edlund has decided to leave the band. Stated that he will do the remaining summer festivals for the band, and then that's it. He says he wants to have nothing to do with the band, and he doesn't even care about it besides wishing good luck to his fellow bandmates. And I've never listened to this band, really. I don't have anything to say about their music, but if you're a fan of them, then that's unfortunate. So we'll see what happens with that. Machine Head announced an 11-date US tour dubbed the Killers and Kings Tour. Starting in May, pretty short tour. I think they're only hitting, like SoCal and a couple of places near around it. I never got what was so great about Machine Head. I don't know why. They're one of those bands that everybody talks about, and they're huge and have like crazy shows. And I just never got it. They just didn't really do anything for me. They're not horrible, but I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to them. But the second date on Machine Head's tour is the Scion Rock Fest that has been announced for Pomona, California, happening May 17th, which is really soon. I went to Scion Rock Fest once. It's the traveling festival done by Scion, which you wouldn't think a car company would do. a metal festival, but they actually did it really, really well. It's completely free. You register at silenav.com, and once you get there, you get a wristband, and then you're good to go. There's several bands playing. You can walk in and out of every venue. I went to the one in LA, and they had two real venues where bands would play at, and then two like tents out in the street that bands would play at, and it was done surprisingly really well. If you're in the area, I'd recommend going, especially if it's free. So you have no excuse to not go. I'd go to a free festival no matter who was playing. But the lineup includes Machine Head, as I already said, High on Fire, Red Fang, Crowbar, Buzzo, Exhumed, Necrogoblicon, and more. Necrogoblicon's hilarious. I'm glad they're getting bigger and more recognized. Yeah, May 17th, if you're in Pomona, California, go check out that show. In other festival news, Mayhem Fest announced their lineup. I don't know how you guys feel about Mayhem Fest. I always described it as Corporate Fest, because it's obvious the bigger bands that sell more get the most time. I think Five Finger Death Punch got a longer set than Rob Zombie last year I went. And it's run by Rockstar Energy Drink. I wouldn't trust an energy drink to run anything. Mayhem Fest is shit. It just has the shittiest fans that go every year. It's people who are looking to get into a fight, not people who actually go because they care about music. But the lineup includes such heavy metal heavyweights, as Avenged Sevenfold, Korn, Trivium, Asking Alexandria, Ice-T's Body Count, which is fucking hilarious. If I was going, I would watch them just out of pure irony. Cannibal Corpse, probably the only good band on the lineup. Amur, if you love terrible, terrible music and don't like most of the strings on the guitar, then you go for that. Darkest Hours playing. Mushroom Head, interesting. Miss May I, Il Nino, Suicide Silence, and Veil of Maya, and a couple more bands. So if you like bad music, then go ahead and spend $50 to sit on the lawn. If you like any of the bands playing, I would just recommend waiting until they tour by themselves and getting more for your money. But yeah, so that's the deal for Mayhem Fest, if you really want to go. But I don't blame you if you don't, because I'm not going. And then, another terrible news, the Golden God nominees came out. If you don't know what the Golden Gods is, it's run by Revolver Magazine. And it's basically an award show for metal celebrities to jerk off each other, just like every other award show. This part of this episode is basically going to be me shit-talking several bands and just being very biased. But when you have Golden Gods and Mayhem Fest, there's going to be a lot to talk badly about. I'm trying to make the show entertaining, too, so I don't just want to read off like, this happened, blah. I want to give my opinion on it. There will be a lot in the show I covered that I like a lot. I obviously love a lot of music, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this. But really quickly, let's get into some terrible shit. It's going to be happening April 23rd at Club Nokia in Los Angeles, if you really want to go. The nominees. The Ronnie James Dio Lifetime Achievement Award, just a Lifetime Achievement Award, is going to Axl Rose, which is okay. They could have picked somebody much worse, but yeah, that one's alright. The Golden God Award, which is basically a Lifetime Achievement Award again, is going to Joan Jett, and I'm totally supportive of that. I fucking love Joan Jett. I think she's incredible. I really want to see her live. I haven't got to yet. But yeah, that's probably the best thing this award show is doing. Performances will be by Guns N' Roses if they decide to show up and they're there on time. Can't be late for a live TV broadcast. Joan Jett and the Black Hearts, that'll be awesome. Korn, A Day to Remember. The Pretty Reckless, if you've never heard of them, they're pretty alright sounding rock band. They sound like a band you expect to hear on the radio, but they're really not that bad. They're good background music, really. And then Zakk Wylde's playing, I guess, by himself. I don't know if he's doing an acoustic set or what even he's up to right now, but it just says Zakk Wylde's performing. The Album of the Year nominees. Avenged Sevenfold for Hail to the King. That'll show you how much they like good music at this show. Black Sabbath for 13. Five Finger Death Punch for The Wrong Side of Heaven and The Righteous Side of Hell. I think Five Finger Death Punch is probably the worst thing to ever happen to music, so I'm probably going to speak very badly about them a lot in this show. And you're welcome. Korn for the paradigm shift. Queens of the Stone Age for like Clockwork, that's cool. I probably wouldn't put Queens of the Stone Age in like a metal category, but I think they're a pretty cool band, so that's not too bad. And Volbeat for Outlaw Gentlemen and Shady Ladies. I used to love Volbeat, but I thought this album was really subpar compared to their other stuff, so I wouldn't put it in this category, but I wouldn't have put probably any of these in this category. Best vocalist. I did not write down the vocalist names because I don't care. All these bands are terrible. Well, at least most of them. The vocalist for A Day to Remember. The vocalist for Avenged Sevenfold. Vocalist for Five Finger Death Punch. Those two are in like every fucking category. The singer for Ghost, Papa Mertis, which I thought was cool. I'm not the biggest fan of Ghost, but I like how a band that just does very basic satanic songs is getting really popular. I find it funny to turn on the radio and hear a song about Satan come on, so that's cool. And then the singer for Queens of the Stone Age. The Dimebag Darrell Best Guitarist Award. Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains. Sinister Gates and Zacky Vengeance from Avenged Sevenfold. Tony Iommi. This award should be called the Tony Iommi Best Guitarist Award, because without him, none of these fucking people would exist. So that shows you, again, how great and really metal this award show is. John Petrucci of Dream Theater, he's really talented, so I can see that one. Zoltan Bathory and Jason Hook from Five Finger Death Punch, if you like generic, shitty music. Monkey and Head from Korn are nominated. The Paul Gray Best Bassist Award. That is an oxymoron. The bass player for Avenged Sevenfold, Geezer Butler, again, should be the Geezer Butler Best Bass Player Award. Five Finger Death Punch. Rex Brown from Kill Devil Hill, used to be in Pantera. And Fieldy from Korn, who said himself that he doesn't really think Korn has a bass player. So, yeah, he's nominated for Best Bassist. And the bass player for Six Puppies. I've never even heard of that band until I started this show. Best drummer, whoever the new guy is in Avenged Sevenfold. Brad Wilk from Rage Against the Machine for his work on Black Sabbath's new album. I love Rage Against the Machine, but since it's for Black Sabbath's work, it's whatever. Vinny Appice from Kill Devil Hill. Drummer for Periphery, which I thought was an interesting choice, because that band is ridiculously talented. So to see them in this award show, a band with real talent, is kind of surprising. Chris Adler from Lamb of God, but it's for his work on Protest the Heroes' new album. And Mike Portnoy from the Winery Dogs. Best Live Band, this category, surprisingly, they did pretty well. I think all of these bands put on a great show, actually, so that was good. The Dillinger Escape Plan, I'm not a fan of them, but they do put on a crazy show. Gojira, who are fucking incredible and are one of the heaviest bands I've ever seen live. They're insane. Lamb of God always put on an amazing show. Motley Crue, who I think always put on a great show. I'm excited for their tour coming up this year. Slayer, no one has ever gone to a Slayer show and thought it sucked, so obviously they would be on here. And Rob Zombie, who has always put on a killer show every single time I've seen him. That he has a great combination of great stage presence along with a lot of pyro and crazy shit going on. So, Song of the Year nominees. Alice in Chains for their song Hollow. Avenged Sevenfold for Hail to the King. Bring Me the Horizon for Shadow Moses. This is a metal show. Five Finger Death Punch for Lift Me Up featuring Rob Halford, which I think is the gayest thing Rob Halford has ever done. I don't know why you would collaborate with Five Finger Death Punch. Maybe he did it just to get money from it since they're really popular, and he'd be like, I can actually retire now since nobody bought Nostradamus. And then, I'll keep going. Of Mice and Men for their song You're Not Alone. The Pretty Reckless for Going to Hell, which is a pretty sexy music video if you haven't seen it. Best Film and Video, speaking of which. Behemoth for Blow Your Trumpet Gabriel, which is an incredible music video. It's very artistic. I like the video more than I actually like the song, but it's very, very good. Huntress for Zenith. Lamb of God for As the Palaces Burn, their DVD that they were shooting when Randy got arrested. I really wanted to see it. I think it's still doing a tour of a couple local theaters. But yeah, that one's on there. Metallica for Through the Never, which nobody saw because nobody wants to see Metallica on an IMAX screen. Motionless in White for America, and Pierce the Veil for This Is a Wasteland. New talent nominees are Deaf Haven, Heaven's Basement, Issues, I've never even heard of them, Scar the Martyr, which is Joey Jordison's new band. I don't think if you've been in the metal scene for so long that you should be nominated for Best New Talent, even if, like, it's a brand new band. I think that's dumb. 12 Foot Ninja, I love the band name. And the band Crosses, their logo is just literally 3 crosses. So everybody just refers to them as Crosses. Comeback of the Year, this category again is actually pretty well done. Black Sabbath made pretty good comeback. Carcass, who I think should win because they came out with probably the best album they've ever done and have hugely been promoting, hugely touring a lot. I think they should win. Deep Purple, 9 Inch Nails, again making a big comeback, so obviously that's on here. Queens of the Stone Age, and Suicidal Tendencies, who I don't think they really have a comeback. I think they just made a new album. So, I mean, I love Suicidal, but putting them in Best Comeback I thought was a little weird. Most Metal Athlete. I'm not even going to read the category because you probably don't care about sports that much, and if you do, you wouldn't look to a metal show to learn about sports. Working out and going to the gym is good for you, and you should do it, but I've never gone to the gym and be like, that was so metal. So that's just probably the dumbest category they have. And last category, Most Dedicated Fans. Here we go. A Day to Remember, Avenged Sevenfold, Five Finger Death Punch, Of Mice and Men, The Pretty Reckless, and Slayer, who, that's dumb. Slayer started the crazy fans of metal, people fucking carving their arms and doing ridiculous shit. They should just get the award. It should be like the Lifetime Achievement Award. No, you've never been to a concert and someone's been like, Of Mice and Men! At any random concert, but hearing someone yell Slayer is pretty normal. So, those are the Golden God nominees. I think it's all pretty shit. It's a great... If you want to get really drunk with your friends and watch the award show and just make fun of it, it's great. I highly recommend doing that. On to the next section of this YouTube show. That'd be awesome if I had an award show. Some album reviews. Normally when I have other people on, I'm going to try to have more guests as often as possible. We'll each do 1 album, but I'm going to do 2 albums since it's by myself. It's the first episode. I'll try to keep this pretty quick. The first album I'm going to review is Behemoth the Satanist, that came out fairly recently. Their big comeback album ever since Nigel went through his whole surgery and leukemia and everything. And it is fucking awesome. It is probably one of the best albums they've ever made. A lot of people are saying the best album they've ever made. I think it hugely combines elements from their black metal days along with their newer sound. It doesn't have the Middle Eastern thing they had going on, like with the Apostasy, but it's just adding, like, if you take the Middle Eastern element out of it and just put in way more satanic shit, it's pretty much that. It's really, really good. The first song, Blurred Trumpet Gabriel, it's a great beginning song. It's not one of my favorite ones on the album, but it works well as an intro. I love O Father of Satan of Son, their last song. The first album they've come out with in a while that just sounds evil. So I highly recommend getting it. It's just great. The other album I'm going to review, which is completely different, is Baby Metal. And if you've never heard of Baby Metal, you really need to check it out. What it is, it's from Japan, so you know it's weird already. It's metal fronted by 3 young girls, like early teenage girls. So it's K-pop done over metal. And when I say that, you think it's going to be shitty, because that's what I thought. And it's surprisingly really, really good and really catchy. A lot of things usually when they come out, this is like metal combined with whatever different type of music. Usually the metal isn't really that focused on and just sounds really generic metal over something ridiculous. But the metal is really, really good in this album. It's surprising. The first song is just a great mosh pit, go crazy song. And then there's like every song has a guitar solo that's like really well done. It doesn't seem like someone just threw it apart really quick. It looks like they really focused on all the music on it. The girls are, it's all in Japanese, so you don't know what the fuck they're saying, but one of the songs is called Give Me Chocolate, which is funny. I might be wrong, but it seems like some of the other songs actually deal with like Japanese traditions and culture. I could be completely wrong. They might just be talking about random bullshit. But judging from some of their music videos, I get that impression. But there's parts of songs have like a little bit of dubstep, and there's a part where the girls are rapping in one of the songs. But it's really, really entertaining. I highly recommend it. If you don't take yourself or music that seriously and you can joke around with fun bands, then I highly recommend checking out that album. Show reviews. Now I'm going to review concerts that I went to recently. Trying to keep this fairly short, so I'll go through probably just one show. I just saw the Behemoth tour with 1349, Goat Whore, Inquisition, and I think it was Black Crown Initiate. I missed them. I got there right before 1349, actually. I thought they would play right before Behemoth. But it was a really, really good show. 1349 were okay. I'm not that huge into just blatant black metal. But they were entertaining. It was fun to see. There are obviously much worse bands out there. Goat Whore were fucking great. I haven't seen Goat Whore in a long time. This is the first time in several years. And they were great. Just very heavy sound. They had a lot of energy. They got the whole crowd going. There were several mosh pits going at the whole time. They were really, really good. I really enjoyed their set. Behemoth were fantastic. I wouldn't say it was the best time I saw Behemoth, but it was definitely up there. One of the best times, maybe the second best time I've ever seen them. They opened with Blow Trumpet Gabriel, and they had a great set list. They had played a couple of songs from Satanist, and then some older stuff. Basically, like their hit songs, they basically played their hits on this tour, I would kind of say. Every song was not filler at all. It was all great. They even threw in Christians of the Lions, which I love that song. That was cool. They really upped the spookiness in their show. There's several parts where Nurgle's just staring at you, and he looks intense. It's terrifying. Because before, when Behemoth used to play, they looked like these big, like, warriors that didn't really come out of, like, a cheesy battle, but they looked like they came out of, like, a historic battle or something. And that was really intense. But now they all look like prophets from, like, really ancient, like, satanic times. Like, Nurgle's wearing a hood for a lot of the show, and he takes it off and looks all, like, ritualistic when he's doing it. But yeah, they were spooky. One of the last songs, they came out with, like, blood all over them, and it didn't look like a shitty, like, Kiss type of blood. It looked like they probably just killed something backstage and came back on. They were really spooky. They were really great. I've got a little bit of time, so I'm gonna go into the other show I saw about a week before the Behemoth show, again in a completely different direction. Was Reverend Horton Heat with Necromantics, and that was fun. I love rockabilly. I love Reverend Horton Heat. Necromantics were cool. I'm not big into them. I don't really know much of their songs, but I've seen them before, and they're really entertaining. They put on a great show. Reverend Horton Heat was my first time seeing him, and he looked like an old grandpa, like, who would be on a golf course or some shit. But he was great. He played really fast. He was really entertaining. He played Psychobilly Freakout and a lot of his classic songs, like Martini Time. It was a lot of fun. He played a 2-hour set, including a Johnny B. Good cover, which was great. I think that was my favorite song of the night. He still got people moving. There was good, like, crowd interaction. Everybody seemed like... no one was just standing there like, oh, it's fun. People were moving, having a good time. About halfway through his set, he brought out a guy named Deck Dickerson, who I'd never heard of. I guess he's a legendary kind of rockabilly western guitar player. Really good. He kept playing with a double neck guitar that him and the Rev would, like, share different necks at times. That was fun. He did a couple songs that kind of were like slow western, which were losing my attention. but he did good with playing really fast songs and keeping the crowd interacted. He was running around the crowd a little bit. So yeah, that was a great show. I don't know if it's still happening. I know Reverend Horton Heat tours all the fucking time, so you should catch him when he's coming through your neck of the woods. Up next, album review, or not album reviews, upcoming albums. These are albums coming out this month of April. I'm going to try to just keep it to albums coming out like within the next coming month, because otherwise I'd have no material for any other show. Triptychon with Melina Chasmata comes out April 14th. Triptychon are fucking great. I'm looking forward to that. Impaled Nazarene with Vigorous and Liberating Death, April 14th as well. I used to be big into that band, even though they might have some not fantastic political and social views if you read any of their interviews or listen to them talk. But their music's really, really good, so I'll probably check it out. Ed Guy with Space Police comes out April 18th. I still dig Ed Guy. They're a fun, like, derpy power metal band. Prong is coming out with Ruining Lives April 23rd. Insomnium comes out with Shadow of the Dying April 25th. I know a lot of people looking forward to that. I'm not big into Insomnium, but they're good, and a lot of my friends are really crazy about them. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to check that album out. Arcona with Yav is coming out April 25th. I'm looking forward to that. I love Arcona. They're probably my favorite folk metal band, actually. Just Masha's stage presence and her vocals are just so good. They're better than a lot of guy death metal vocalists. And Aborted comes out with Necrotic Manifesto April 28th. Upcoming shows. These are tours happening right now. I'm going to say the specific dates for show in my area, which is the Bay Area, California. But these are all tours that are happening, going around, or at least most of them are. And I'm going to post tour dates as well. I didn't particularly write these down in order, so this will take me a minute. The Toy Dolls with Swinging Utters is playing April 14th at the Regency Center in San Francisco. Toy Dolls are like a legendary punk band. Cataclysm with Aborted for the Kill the Elite tour happening April 16th at the DNA Lounge. Dream Theater April 17th at the Warfield. Motorhead and Graveyard are playing April 18th at the Warfield. I'm definitely going to that. As you all know, Lemmy hasn't been doing too great. I hope he gets better, but I don't want a chance saying I'll just see him next time they come and end up not having a next chance. And Motorhead's always been great too. Lemmy's like one of my fucking icons, so I'm definitely going. If you're in Oakland, April 18th and 19th, the Tank Crimes Brain Squeeze Festival is happening at the Oakland Metro, featuring Municipal Waste, Fucked Up, Ghoul, Final Conflict, Impaled, Cannabis Corpse, which is funny, Iron Reagan, which is one of my favorite band names ever, and a couple more are playing. If you're in Oakland, check that out. Fun thing to do for 420 weekend. If you're cheap and you want to support local bands, April 19th at Bobby D's in Redwood City is See the Sky, Crepuscle, Valensorrow, When Earth Awakes, The Soothing Sound of Flight, and Silly Creature are playing a free show in Redwood City. I know a lot of the guys in Crepuscle, and they're a very talented, very good band. Like, I can see them doing pretty well out here. And Valençar are also an up and coming folk metal band from this area. They're really entertaining as well. I recommend going to that show because it's a free show, so why would you not? You can get wasted and have fun with some local bands. Godflesh is playing April 20th at the DNA Lounge if you're into that whole industrial thing. Dillinger's Escape Plan is playing with Trash Talk, Retox, and Shining. The kind of jazzy sounding Shining, not the depressing black metal band with that weird fucking singer. Are playing April 23rd at the DNA Lounge. Combi Christ is playing with William Control, New Year's Day, King Loses Crown, and Russell Clash, April 24th at Slim's. Combi Christ is about to come out with their new album. I'm not really I hate industrial music, to be honest with you. I can only take the same beat for so fucking long until I'm bored. But Combi Christ are have a couple of songs I can get into. I saw them play with Rammstein, and they were great, actually. So, if you're in the area, check that out. Mastodon is playing with Gojira and Cover Talk May 1st at the Fox Theater. If I have the money, I'm going to go to that because Gojira are fucking great. I've never seen Cover Talk, but I dig them. I'm not big on Mastodon, but that's big. Another reason for me to go because after Gojira, I just fucking go home and have an easy night to myself. It's not kind of nice when shows don't run all fucking night. The Worldwide Plague Tour with Iced Earth, Sabaton, and Revamp is happening May 3rd at Slim's in San Francisco. I might go to that. I'm not too big on Iced Earth. I dig them. There's a couple songs I like. Love Sabaton. Sabaton's one of my favorite bands. And I want to check out Revamp. I've never really listened to him that much, but I know Flor Jensen is the new singer for Nightwish. And what I've heard, I actually think she's probably the best singer Nightwish has had so far. So I might go check out that show. Nile is playing May 5th at Slim's. I don't know if they're touring with anybody. The flyer just said Nile and that was it. Maybe they're doing another huge set like they did before. And then the last show on the list, Suicidal Tendencies, is playing May 7th at the Ace of Spades. Again, I love Suicidal. They do a crazy show. Everybody's going apeshit. The singer just runs around the whole stage like a fucking monkey the entire set. He does not stop moving at all. Yeah, so check out that tour if it's coming toward you. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I got for this first episode. Like I said, I will try to do these episodes hopefully every 2 weeks, at least once a month for sure. Yeah, hopefully I'll have more guests on and we can chit chat and talk with each other. But yeah, I hope you dug the show. Let me know what you thought.